The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets overhead, casting jagged shadows across the empty locker room floor slick with the remnants of our post-game shower. Vincent's hand clamped over my mouth just as the words, "I think I'm in love with you," tumbled from his lips, his breath hot and ragged against my ear. In that frozen heartbeat, with the distant roar of the crowd still echoing from the field outside, I realized our unbreakable brotherhood had just shattered into something dangerous, something that could drag us both under. I shoved him back, my heart slamming against my ribs like a caged animal desperate to break free. "What the hell, Vince? You can't just, not here, not now." My voice cracked, barely above a whisper, but it sliced through the humid air like a knife. He staggered against the lockers, his blue eyes wide with a mix of terror and defiance, the kind that only comes from jumping off a cliff you didn't know was there. We'd grown up in Willow Creek, Ohio, a speck on the map where cornfields stretched to the horizon and Friday nights meant football under the floodlights. Population, 2,347, give or take a tractor accident or two. Everyone knew everyone. And secrets? They were like weeds in Grandma's garden, stubborn and impossible to uproot without tearing up the whole damn plot. Vincent Harlan and Riley Hayes, that was us. Best friends since we were knee-high to a grasshopper, sharing scraped knees from dirt bikes, stolen sips of his dad's Pabst Blue Ribbon, and dreams of escaping this flatland purgatory for something bigger, like Cleveland or even the coast. Vince was the golden boy, quarterback with a cannon arm, easy grin that could charm the devil, and hair that fell just right over his forehead like he stepped out of a J.Crew catalog. Me? I was the reliable wingman, wide receiver, quick on my feet, with a mop of curly brown hair that never quite behaved in eyes the color of faded denim. Folks said we were like brothers, inseparable as the Harlan-Hayes duo tearing up the gridiron for Willow Creek High Hawks. But brothers don't steal glances in the huddle, don't linger a beat too long in the showers, don't feel that electric hum when their shoulders brush during a tackle drill. It started innocently enough, or at least that's what I told myself. Freshman year, we'd sneak into the old barn behind his family's farm, trading comic books and plotting our escape routes. "We're gonna make it big, he'd say, his voice all fire and certainty, sketching plays on the dusty floor with a stick. You and me against the world." By junior year, those talks turned to girls, or for me, the careful deflection. I'd laugh off the cheerleaders batting lashes at us, claim I was waiting for the right one, while inside, I was a storm cloud ready to burst. Vince dated a string of them, Sarah with the perfect ponytail, then Becca from the debate team. Each breakup hit him like a blindside sack, and I'd be there, patching him up with bad jokes and late-night drives down Route 23, windows down, Springsteen blasting from the truck's tinny speakers. But lately, something shifted. Practices got longer, our banter sharper, laced with an undercurrent neither of us named. Last week, after we clinched the regional semis, the team hoisted Vince on their shoulders, chanting his name like he was some small-town deity. I hung back, nursing a Gatorade, watching the way his jersey clung to his chest, the V of his collarbone peeking out like an invitation I couldn't accept. He caught my eye across the field, held it a second too long, and mouthed, "Couldn't do it without you." My stomach flipped, and I looked away, pretending to tie my cleats. Tonight's game was a bloodbath. Hawks versus the rival Milford Panthers, under a sky bruised purple with storm clouds. We won 28-24 on a Hail Mary, the first hauled in over two defenders, Vince's pass threading the needle like it was meant for my hands alone. The locker room erupted. High fives, whoops, Coach Barkley bellowing about state finals. But as the steam cleared and the guys filed out, slapping towels and hollering plans for the bonfire, Vince lingered. He was stripping off his pads, movements slow, deliberate like he was buying time. "Riley, wait up," he called, voice casual but edged with gravel. I paused at my locker, heart picking up tempo. The room emptied to echoes, the metallic clang of doors the only sound besides our breathing. He stepped closer, close enough I could smell the salt of his sweat mixed with that cheap Axe body spray he swore by. "That catch, man. You saved my ass out there." "Just doing my job?" I muttered, fumbling with my laces, avoiding those eyes that always saw too much, He laughed, low and rough, but it died quick. Then his hand was on my shoulder, fingers digging in just a fraction too hard. Listen. There's something I gotta. And that's when it happened. The words spilled out, raw and unfiltered, like he'd been holding them in since we were kids. I think I'm in love with you. Not I love you, bro, like 1,000 times before. No, this was stripped bare, vulnerable, the kind of confession that doesn't come with a safety net. I froze, the world narrowing to the heat of his palm, the pulse thundering in my ears. Part of me, the part I'd buried under layers of denial and small-town stoicism, wanted to lean in to bridge that gap and see what happened. But the rest screamed run. Exposure in Willow Creek wasn't just social suicide. It was a one-way ticket to whispers that followed you to the grave. My own truth had been locked tight since I was 14, piecing together crushes on boys from the pages of magazines I hid under my mattress. Telling Vince? That was a dream I'd nursed in the dark, but never dared voice. Vince, you're drunk or concussed or something, I hissed, yanking away. We just won the damn game. Don't ruin it. His face crumpled, that easy confidence cracking like thin ice. I'm not drunk, and I'm not crazy. I've been feeling this for months, maybe longer. The way you look at me, it's not just me, is it? The air thickened, charged like the storm brewing outside. Rain pattered against the small window high on the wall, a soft prelude to the downpour. I wanted to lie, to laugh it off as post-game adrenaline, but the words stuck in my throat. Instead, I grabbed my duffel, slung it over my shoulder. I gotta go. Mom's waiting. Riley. Drop it, Vince. Please. My voice broke on the last word, and I bolted, the door slamming behind me like a final punctuation. Outside, the parking lot was a sea of tail lights and cheering families, the air crisp with the scent of wet asphalt and distant bonfires. I spotted Mom's old Chevy, engine idling, her face lit by the dashboard glow. She waved, oblivious, calling my name over the din. But as I slid into the passenger seat, the weight of what just happened settled like lead in my gut. Vince's confession wasn't just words. It was a grenade with the pin pulled, and I was the one left holding it. That night, I lay in bed staring at the water-stained ceiling, the house creaking around me like it held its own secrets. Dad was on another long haul to Toledo, Mom snoring softly down the hall. Willow Creek slept, but I didn't. Every what-if looped in my mind. What if he meant it? What if I did too? We'd built our lives around each other. Summers baling hay on his farm, winters huddled over the space heater arguing Marvel versus DC. Losing that, it'd hollow me out. By dawn, resolve hardened. I'd play it cool, chalk it up to the high of victory. Brothers before, whatever this was. But when my phone buzzed at 6:17 a.m., Vince's name flashing, my thumb hovered before answering. I'm sorry, he started, voice thick with sleep and regret. Last night was stupid. Forget I said anything. We're good, right? Yeah. I lied, the word tasting like ash. We're good. Relief flooded his tone. Cool. Practice at 3? Coach wants extra reps. Wouldn't miss it. We hung up, and I punched my pillow, frustration boiling over. Easy for him to backpedal, he could blame the beer or the bruises. But me? I'd replayed that moment 100 times already, dissecting every glance, every touch. Was it real, or just the loneliness of small-town life twisting us up? Practice was hell. The field muddied from the overnight rain, our cleats sucking into the turf like it wanted to swallow us whole. Vince threw lasers, barking plays with his usual swagger, but I caught him stealing looks, quick, guilty flickers that set my nerves on edge. During water breaks, he'd sling an arm around my shoulders, the gesture familiar yet loaded now, like a live wire disguised as a hug. Looking sharp out there. Hayes, Coach grunted, clapping my back. You two are poetry in motion. If only he knew. The team razzied us as always. Harlan and Hayes, the dynamic duo. But it grated. Each joke a reminder of the fracture line snaking between us. After, in the locker room again, that cursed space, I kept my head down, changing fast, avoiding the mirrors that reflected too much. Vince cornered me by the sinks, toothpaste foam at his mouth, towel slung low. "Hey, about last night." "Forget it." I cut in, sharper than intended. "You said we're good." "We are." He nodded, jaw tight, but his eyes searched mine, hunting for the lie. "Okay, but if you ever want to talk." I didn't, or couldn't. That became our new normal, surface-level banter masking the undercurrent. Days blurred into weeks, the Hawks steamrolling toward state. Homecoming came and went. Vince took Jenny from bio class, me with a pity date from the drama club, both of us faking smiles through the dance. But at the after-party, crammed into Tyler's basement with keg stands and bad karaoke, Vince pulled me aside into the laundry room, the dryer humming like a conspirator. "Riley, this is killing me," he whispered, close enough his cologne wrapped around me like smoke, pretending like nothing's changed. But everything has. My pulse raced, the room spinning from the cheap vodka punch. "You made it change, Vince. You dropped that bomb and now." I had to. It was eating me alive. His hand brushed mine, tentative, electric. "Tell me you don't feel it too." I yanked away, heart in my throat. "I can't. Not here. Not with everything at stake." He deflated, nodding like he'd expected the rejection. "Yeah, small town, right? God, I hate this place sometimes." We rejoined the party, laughs hollow, but that brush lingered like a brand. From then on, the tension simmered, bubbling up in stolen moments. A knee pressed against mine in the truck, his laugh lingering when I cracked a joke. I started journaling at night, scribbled confessions in a notebook hidden under loose floorboards, pages filled with the ache of wanting what I couldn't have, the fear of losing my anchor. Thanksgiving loomed, Dad home for once, the house smelling of turkey and Mom's apple pie. Vince's family invited us over, tradition as old as us. Their farmhouse glowed with strung lights, the table groaning under mashed potatoes and green bean casserole. Under the table, his foot nudged mine. Accidental? Intentional? And I jerked back, spilling gravy. Laughter covered it, but his gaze held apology and hunger. Later, as snow dusted the fields, we escaped to the barn, breath fogging in the cold. "Remember when we built that fort?" he asked, voice soft, kicking at hay. "Yeah." Felt invincible. We still could be. He stepped closer, the lantern light carving shadows on his face. "If we left, after graduation, you and me road trip to Cali. Screw this town." The idea bloomed, wild and tempting, a horizon without judgment. And what then? Playhouse in some beach shack. He grinned, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Why not? Start over." My chest tightened. "Vince, you're straight. You date girls. It's confusion." Am I? The question hung, heavy. Or have I been lying to myself so long I forgot how to tell the truth? Before I could respond, headlights swept the drive, his mom calling us in for pie. We trudged back, unspoken words trailing like ghosts. Winter gripped Willow Creek, fields blanketed white, practices turning to indoor drills in the drafty gym. The team buzzed with playoff fever, posters plastered everywhere, Hawks to state, but beneath it my world tilted. I caught Vince staring during film sessions, his focus drifting from the screen to me. Whispers started, nothing concrete, just sidelong glances from the guys. A joke from Tommy about bromance overload. Then came the betrayal, sharp as a switchblade. It was a Friday scrimmage, air thick with sweat and the squeak of sneakers. We'd nailed a trick play, Vince to me for a 60-yard bomb. In the huddle after, euphoric, he hugged me. Too tight, too long. His lips brushing my ear in what could pass for a whisper, but felt like a promise. The team catcalled, but Tyler's eyes narrowed, filing it away. That night at the diner, greasy spoon haven for post-practice fries. Tyler cornered Vince alone while I hit the John. I returned to find them huddled, Tyler's voice low and probing. "Dude, what's with you and Hayes?" That hug was intense. Vince laughed it off, I thought. But later, driving home, his truck swerving on black ice, he confessed. Ty asked about us. I told him it's nothing. Just bros being brothers. Relief mixed with dread. Good. Keep it that way. But Tyler didn't. By Monday, the rumor mill churned. Harlan's got a thing for Hayes? Nah, can't be. It spread like flu in flu season. Whispers in halls, snickers in class. I felt eyes on me, the weight of judgment pressing down. Vince denied it fiercely, cornering Tyler after algebra. Spread that shit again, and we're done. But damage was done. Jenny dumped Vince publicly in the cafeteria, calling him confused. Coach pulled us aside, gruff but concerned. Whatever's going on, sort it. Team first. I confronted Vince in the parking lot, snow flurrying around us like confetti from hell. This is your fault. You couldn't keep your mouth shut. His face twisted in pain. I didn't doubt us, Ree. Tyler twisted my words. Us? There is no us. The lie burned, but fear won. Just stay away. He reeled as if slapped. You don't mean that. But I walked away, the crunch of gravel under my boots drowning his plea. The fallout cascaded. Practices turned awkward, passes sloppy. My grades slipped. Mom noticed, chalking it to senioritis. Nights, I cried into my pillow, the ache of lost friendship sharper than any crush. Vince texted apologies, voicemails thick with desperation. But I ghosted him, building walls higher than the corn silos. State finals loomed, our shot at glory. The town rallied. Pep rallies, bake sales, banners strung across Main Street. But I was unraveling, the secret festering like an untreated wound. The night before the game, a blizzard hit, blanketing everything in white silence. I couldn't sleep, so I drove to the field, headlights cutting through the swirl. There he was, Vince, alone on the 50-yard line, tossing a football to himself, breath clouding the air. He spotted me, froze. Ree, I didn't think you'd come. Couldn't stay away. We stood there, snow collecting on our shoulders, the world muffled. I'm sorry, he said, voice breaking, for everything, the confession, the mess. But I don't regret feeling it. Tears stung my eyes, freezing on my lashes. Me neither. God, Vince, I love you too. Have for years. But this town, it'll destroy us. Then let's fight. He stepped closer, hand out. Together. I took it, our fingers lacing, the touch grounding me. We talked till numb, dreams, fears, the boy we'd both been hiding. No kisses, no rush. Just truth, raw and redemptive. The game was epic. Hawks versus Toledo Central, stadium packed, cheers shaking the stands. We played like demons possessed, Vince's arm a blur, my routes laser sharp. Down by 3 in the fourth, clock ticking, he called the play. Fade to me in the end zone. The snap, the drop back, the throw arcing perfect through the lights. I leaped, snagged it one-handed, crashing the goal line as time expired. 31-28, Hawks win state. The pylon was chaos. Teammates burying us, town erupting. But in the crush, Vince's eyes found mine. A silent vow. Post-game, locker room electric, but we slipped out early, driving to the bluffs overlooking the river, stars punching through clouds. What now? I asked, shoulder to shoulder on the tailgate. He squeezed my hand. We tell who we want when we're ready. Graduate in June, then California. UCLA scouts were sniffing around. Scholarships for both of us. Hope flickered, fragile but real. And the town. Screw 'em. We're the Hawks who flew. We sat there till dawn, sharing dreams like old times, but laced with new possibility. Betrayal had cracked us open, but from the shards, something stronger emerged. Not just friendship, but a love forged in fire, humanistic in its quiet defiance. Willow Creek didn't change overnight. Whispers lingered, families side-eyed at church potlucks. But we held fast, coming out to parents in halting talks over kitchen tables. Mom's hug tighter than words, Vince's dad grumbling but proud. Graduation caps sailed under June skies, diplomas in hand, U-Haul loaded with futures. On the road west, Route 66 bleeding into interstates, Springsteen on repeat, We chased sunsets. The bond? Transformed. Unbreakable. That risky thing in the locker room? It didn't end us, it set us free. The California sun hit different. Blinding, relentless, like it was daring you to squint and own your truth. We'd rolled into LA 2 months after graduation. The U-Haul coughing its last on a side street in Westwood. Vince whooping as we unloaded boxes into our shoebox apartment above a taqueria that smelled eternally of cilantro and regret. UCLA awaited, him on a partial football ride. Me scraping by on academic merit and a gig slinging lattes at a campus cafe. Willow Creek felt like a half-remembered dream. Faded Polaroids in a drawer we didn't open. But freedom's a tricky beast. It loosens the chains, sure, but leaves you raw, stumbling over your own feet. Vince dove in headfirst. Parties in the hills, pickup games on the beach, that quarterback swagger translating seamless to frat row. This is it, he'd say, arms slung around me at some rooftop bash, city lights sprawling below like a promise. No more hiding. Me? I lagged. The cafe shifts blurred into night's scrolling grinder, heart pounding at every ping, but swiping left more than right. Coming out back home had been a quiet revolution. Mom baking extra cookies, Dad's awkward, as long as you're happy, son. But here, amid the rainbow flags and pride floats, the stakes felt higher. What if I wasn't enough? What if Vince, with his easy charm and endless options, woke up one morning and realized he'd traded small-town safety for a mistake? Our first real test came early. A house party at his teammate's off-campus pad. Bass thumping through walls thin as tissue. I'd nursed a beer, chatting up a poli-sci major with a lip ring and opinions sharper than mine. When Vince appeared, flushed from beer pong, pulling me into a corner alcove stacked with empties. "Dance with me," he murmured, breath warm against my neck, hands sliding to my waist like it belonged there. Here? With Chad Thundercock watching. I nodded toward his linebacker buddy, eyeing us with that bro-code curiosity. Vince grinned, defiant. Let him. We're not in Ohio anymore. The floor was a crush, bodies slick with sweat, EDM pulsing like a heartbeat. He led, hips sinking to the rhythm, his touch light but insistent, fingers tracing my spine. Eyes locked, the room faded. It was just us, moving like we'd always known how. A cheer rose. Someone catcalling, "Get a room, Harlan." But Vince flipped them off, laughing, pulling me closer till our foreheads touched. In that moment, doubt cracked. This was us, unapologetic, alive. But as the song faded, reality crept back. The poli-sci guy sidled up later, number scribbled on a napkin. "You're cute when you're flustered," he teased. Vince saw, jaw tightening imperceptibly. But he played cool, clinking bottles with a toast to new beginnings. Back at the apartment, door barely shut, tension snapped. "You gonna call him?" Vince asked, stripping off his shirt, muscles corded from gym sessions gleaming under the Edison bulbs we'd scavenged from a flea market. I shrugged, feigning nonchalance while folding laundry to avoid his gaze. "Maybe. He's smart. Funny." "Funny how? Like, let's debate Foucault over tacos funny?" There it was, edge in his voice, the green-eyed monster we joked about but never faced. "Jealous." I shot back, half laughing, but my pulse betrayed me. He crossed the room in 2 strides, backing me against the fridge, magnets clattering. "Damn right. You're mine, Ree. Or have you forgotten?" The kiss was fire, urgent, claiming, his hands framing my face like I was fragile art. It deepened, breaths mingling, bodies aligning in that perfect puzzle we discovered on desert highways. But I pulled back, chest heaving. "We're not in high school anymore, Vince. Can't own people." His eyes darkened, hurt flickering. "Is that what you think this is? Possession? I thought we were building something." "We are." I cupped his cheek, thumb tracing the stubble he'd grown out, all man now. "But trust goes both ways. No cages." He nodded, exhaling slow, forehead dropping to mine. "You're right. Sorry. This city's got me twisted. Everyone moving so fast. Like if you blink, you miss your shot. We collapsed onto the futon that night, tangled in sheets smelling of salt air and takeout, talking till the sky lightened. Vulnerability poured out. His fear of fading into just another jock. My imposter syndrome whispering I didn't belong in this glittering chaos. Dawn found us plotting, a joint bank account for rent, weekend hikes in the Hollywood Hills, maybe even couples counseling if the scars from Willow Creek itched too bad. Football season ramped up. Vince vanishing into practices and film rooms, emerging bone-tired but buzzing. I'd wait with post-workout burritos, quizzing him on plays while he devoured them. Our rhythms settled, mornings tangled in bed, him humming off-key to the coffee maker. Evenings on the fire escape, city hum below, sharing slices of dreams. He talked NFL scouts, I confessed aspirations for a screenwriting program. Stories of boys like us, breaking molds. But cracks spiderwebbed. A scout's dinner. Vince invited, me plus one. The table was power suits and polished smiles, tales of six-figure deals. I held my own, cracking wise about Ohio winters, but felt the outsider. The barista boyfriend in thrift store threads amid Rolexes. Vince noticed, squeezing my knee under the table. But later, in the valet line, he whispered, "You killed it. They're asking about you." Pride swelled, but so did unease. His world expanded. Mine tethered to espresso shots and tip jars. Then came Marcus, linebacker transfer, all dimples and dreads, crashing our movie nights with six-packs and charisma. "Harlan, your boy's a catch," he'd tease, winking at me over popcorn. Vince laughed it off, but I saw the flicker. Possessiveness masked as camaraderie. One night, after a Bruins win, Marcus lingered too long, arm draped casual over the couch back, fingers brushing my shoulder. "You ever play, Riley? Bet you'd smoke us in flag football." "Stick to pouring foam art," Vince quipped, but his tone was steel. Marcus raised hands in mock surrender. "Easy, QB. Just appreciating the view." The door clicked shut behind him, and storm broke. "What the fuck was that?" Vince exploded, pacing the tiny living room like a caged lion. "What? Friendly chat. He's flirting, and you're eating it up." I stood, anger flaring. Or maybe I'm just talking to someone who doesn't treat every guy as a threat. "God, Vince, you're suffocating me." His face paled. "Suffocating? I'm protecting us. After everything. The rumors back home, the bullshit we fought through." "This isn't home," I shouted, voice echoing off peeling wallpaper. "This is LA. We can breathe here, but you're still locked in that locker room, waiting for the next betrayal." He stopped, shoulders slumping. "Maybe I am. Maybe I'm scared you'll wake up and see I'm not enough. Not for this city, not for you." The admission hung, deflating the fight. I crossed to him, pulling him into a hug that started fierce and melted soft. "You're everything, but we gotta trust, or this eats us alive." We made love then. Slow, reaffirming, bodies mapping familiar territories with renewed wonder. Afterward, whispers in the dark. Promises to communicate, to let each other orbit without clipping wings. Fall turned to winter, holidays a whirlwind. We flew home for Christmas. Willow Creek dusted in hoarfrost, the farm twinkling with lights. Reactions mixed. His sister squealed approval. Dad grunted, "Welcome to the family." But old-timers at the diner's side eyed over coffee mugs. Mom pulled me aside, eyes misty. "He's good for you, Riley. Hold on tight." Back in LA, resolve hardened. Vince aced midterms. I landed an internship at an indie production house. Fetching coffee? Sure, but scripts passing through my hands like gold. We adopted a rescue mutt, Luna, who claimed the futon as throne and our laps as bed. But betrayal's shadow loomed, insidious. Spring training intensified, Vince's name buzzing in sports blogs. Then, a party at the athletic dorms, teammates only, but he begged me to crash. "It's casual," he said. "Just hang." It wasn't. Kegs flowed, bass rattled windows, girls in crop tops orbiting like satellites. I nursed a soda in the kitchen, feeling invisible, when Marcus appeared, slurring sympathy. "Harlan's in beast mode tonight. Scouts here. Big league sniffing." I nodded, forcing a smile, but gut twisted. Through the throng, I spotted Vince. Center of a circle, charm dialed to 11. A blonde draped on his arm, laughing at his jokes. Our eyes met across the room. He froze, mouthing sorry, but disentangled too slow. Jealousy surged, hot and irrational. I bolted, weaving through bodies, cold air slapping as I hit the street. Uber home, tears blurring taillights, Luna whining at my return. Vince burst in an hour later, reeking of sweat and regret. Wait, it was nothing. She's the scout's daughter, networking. Networking with her tongue on your neck? I'd seen the photo Tyler texted. Group shot, her head on his shoulder. Caption, QB1 living large. He deflated, running hands through hair. I fucked up, but it's not what you think. Isn't it? Back to the golden boy routine, girls. Glory, me on the sidelines. That's not fair. Voice rising. I'm trying therapy sessions, pride meetings, but you shut down every time it gets real. Real. The word landed like a gut punch. We'd skirted depths, skimming surfaces. What do you want, Vince? All of me, or the parts that fit your narrative? Everything. He stepped close, eyes fierce. The scared kid in Ohio, the writer with big dreams, the guy who makes me feel seen. But I can't do it alone. We argued till hoarse, accusations flying like shrapnel. Then silence, broken by sobs, his mine. Collapsing into each other on the kitchen floor, Luna nosing worried between us. Dawn brought truce, couples counseling referral, a pact for honesty. Healing wasn't linear. Sessions unearthed ghosts, his internalized homophobia from farm-bred machismo, my abandonment fears from Dad's endless roads. But each Tuesday at 4 p.m., in a sunlit office overlooking palm trees, we unpacked, rebuilding brick by brick. Summer scorched in, internships turning to paid gigs for me, Vince's draft buzz peaking. We escaped to Big Sur. Tent pitched on cliffs, waves crashing below, stars a canopy overhead. Around a driftwood fire, he proposed not ring but future. Marry me? Not today but someday. You me, whatever shape that takes. Tears pricked. Yes, God, yes. That night, under canvas smelling of salt and pine, we made promises with touches and whispers. Love a quiet roar. Fall semester loomed, but a shadow fell. Vince's physical revealed a torn labrum. Minor, Doc said, but sidelining him for playoffs. Rage hit first, punching lockers, cursing fates, then despair, dreams fracturing. I held him through it, driving to PT, rewriting his highlight reel for agents undeterred. You're still QB1, I murmured, massaging knotted shoulders. Field or no? His gratitude was fierce, bond deepening in adversity. We volunteered at a queer youth center, mentoring kids from fractured homes, sharing our story sans the polish. One boy, wide-eyed and trembling, clutched my sleeve post-session. You guys make it look possible. It is, Vince said, ruffling his hair. One risky step at a time. By winter's end, Vince healed enough for spring ball, scouts still circling. I sold my first short, queer road trip tale, Echoes of Us, screened at a festival, applause thundering. Standing backstage, his hand in mine, I felt it. We'd arrived, not perfect, but whole. Yet conflict brewed anew. A rival producer sniffed my script, offering a deal but relocation to New York. It's huge, Vince urged over Thai takeout. Don't pass for me. But us. The word trembled. Long distance? After everything. He cupped my face, steady. We survived Ohio. We can hack this. Betrayal's echo whispered doubt, but love drowned it. I signed, we planned visits, him flying East postseason, me west for holidays. Graduation neared, caps and gowns on horizon. The night before he boarded for minicamp, we walked Venice Beach, waves lapping, Luna tugging leash. Proud of you, he said, sand shifting under feet. Us? I corrected, kissing salt from his lips. Always us. As his plane lifted, city shrinking below, I gripped Luna's collar, heart full. The risky thing? It hadn't just changed our bond. It remade it, thread by resilient thread, into something enduring, a testament to love's quiet revolutions. New York chewed you up and spat you out polished, or so the cabbies swore, honking through gridlock like it was personal. I'd landed in Brooklyn 6 months prior, sublet in a walk-up with radiators that clanged like Morse code and views of fire escapes draped in Christmas lights year-round. The script deal morphed into a staff writer gig on a gritty indie series, queer antiheroes navigating concrete jungles. And suddenly, I was pitching in rooms with egos bigger than the skyline. Vince's texts lit my phone. Killed the meeting? Bet you slayed. Pride swelled. But so did the ache. Miles stretching conversations thin. Minicamp bled into training, his days a blur of drills and ice baths. FaceTimes became lifelines, him shirtless in dorm mirrors, me bleary-eyed post-rewrite, Luna's head butting the screen for treats. Miss your snoring, he'd joke, tracing patterns on fogged glass. And the rest. Me too. But static crept in. Delayed replies, canceled calls. Scout dinner ran late. Or jet lag's a bitch. I nodded, understanding on surface, but doubt burrowed deeper, whispering of diverging paths. Thanksgiving pulled us east, him flying coach, me meeting at JFK amid holiday hordes. The hug was bone-crushing, his scent, Irish Spring and jet fuel, home in human form. We crashed at Mom's in Willow Creek for Turkey Day, the farm a time capsule of autumn leaves and wood smoke. His folks hosted too, tables pushed together, laughter bridging gaps. Look at you city boys, his sister teased, passing cranberry. All fancy now. Under star-pricked skies, we walked the back 40, breath fogging, hands linked hidden in coat pockets. This place, it's smaller every time, Vince mused, kicking frost-rimed clods. But we're bigger. I squeezed his fingers. Proof. Back in Brooklyn, he stayed 2 weeks, couch-surfing my sublet, turning it into us with takeout rituals and midnight walks over the bridge. We made love like starved men, rediscovering curves and hollows, but morning brought reality. His flight to OTAs, my table red looming. At the gate, kiss lingering, he pressed a key into my palm. For the apartment. It's yours when you're ready. Tears pricked. Ours. He grinned, boarding. Damn straight. Solo again, city pulsed indifferent. Work consumed. Rewrites till fingers cramped. Networking mixers where agents sized you up like cuts of meat. I dated casually. A barista with tattoos mapping constellations. An actor whose laugh echoed Vince's, but they faded against memory. Luna pined too, whining at empty evenings. Then, the call that gutted me. Late June. Script deadline crunching. Phone buzzed Vince's number. But voice not his. Coach Ramirez. Grave. Riley? It's about Vincent. Conditioning accident. Slipped on wet turf. Hit his head. Concussion protocol, but he's asking for you. World tilted. I booked red-eye, heart hammering through turbulence. Landing in LAX dawn's glare. Hospital sterile. Beeping monitors a dirge. Vince lay pale, foredripped, bruise blooming on temple like storm cloud. He croaked, eyes fluttering open, hand seeking mine. I'm here. I collapsed into chair, gripping till knuckles whitened. Scared the shit out of me. Doctors murmured. Grade 2, rest mandated, season in jeopardy. Teammates filtered in. Marcus bearing Gatorades, slaps on back masking worry. Tough as nails, your boy, he said, clasping my shoulder. Gratitude surged. Betrayal's old scar softened. Nights blurred in vinyl chairs. Me reading scripts aloud till he dozed. Luna smuggled in for morale boosts. Remember that Hail Mary? He'd whisper, fingers tracing my wrist. Felt like this blind trust, perfect catch. Always catch you. But fear gnawed. What if this sidelined more than games? Dreams we'd banked on, fragile as foam. Discharge brought him home, to our apartment, now sanctuary. I extended leave, holing up with broth and bad TV. Walks in Griffith Park where eucalyptus whispered encouragements. Vulnerability peaked one sunset. Him propped on pillows, me cross-legged on floor. What if I'm done, No draft, no glory. Just some has-been coaching Pee-wee. Then you're my has-been. I crawled up, forehead to his. And that's enough. He cried then. Quarterback tears, rare and rending. Clinging like I'd vanish. Love you. Don't know what I'd. Shoo. We're unbreakable. Recovery dragged. Summer a limbo of puzzles and podcasts. Scouts circled cautious, but Vince pivoted. Volunteer coaching at the youth center. Eyes lighting when kids nailed spirals. This feels right, he admitted over vegan tacos, my influence, city habits sticking. By August, clearance came. Limited reps, but greenlit. Elation exploded. Beer on the balcony. Toasts to comebacks. But tension simmered. He'd withdrawn during dark days, snapping at Marcus's check-ins, ghosting therapy. I'm fine, he'd insist, but eyes betrayed isolation. Fall found me jetting westmore, balancing rewrites with red ice. One weekend, post-victory tailgate, I arrived to chaos. Apartment trashed, Vince MIA. Panic clawed, texts unanswered, calls voicemail. Marcus finally pinged. He's at the bar. Rough night. I cabbed to the dive off campus. Neon buzzing Bruins Denver. Vince hunched at the counter. Shots lined like soldiers, eyes glassy. Didn't expect. Sit. I slid beside, signaling water. Talk. Words tumbled. Pressure mounting, scouts probing weaknesses. Fear he'd crack under lights. Can't let you see me fail. Fool. I cupped his jaw, thumb swiping stubble. I've seen you at rock bottom locker room confessions, blizzard breakdowns. Still here. He leaned in, kissed sloppy with whiskey, but raw. Don't deserve you. Bullshit. We stumbled home, him purging over sink, me holding hair. Dawn brought coffee and confession. I shut down 'cause Dad called. Said real men push through. Old poison. We called his therapist that morning, recommitting. Distance strained, but forged resilience. Care packages of Luna's fur-clung sweaters. Voice memos of inside jokes. Thanksgiving redux. Ohio again. Snow early. Families merged in awkward warmth. His dad pulled Vince aside, emerging teary-eyed. Proud son. Of both. Progress, humanistic and hard one. New Year dawned in Times Square. Me dragging him east for ball drop. Confetti blizzard mirroring our chaos. Midnight kiss amid millions. His whisper. Here's to us wherever. But betrayal's specter stirred. Spring training. A tabloid whisper. UCLA QB's mystery man? Who's the East Coast flame? Grainy photo from a park walk. Speculation rife. Vince laughed it off. Free press. But I saw the flinch, old willow wounds reopening. Producers grilled me at brunch. Boyfriend drama? Juicy for the show. I deflected, but unease festered. Was our story fodder now? Privacy bartered for spotlight? Climax brewed in April, draft eve. Vince invited to green room, me flying in, suit ill-fitting off the rack. Hotel suite hum tension. Him pacing, me scripting pep talks. Whatever happens, I said, straightening his tie. You're gold. The call came, third round, Buffalo Bills, solid, not stardom, but a start. Elation crashed. Hugs, tears, champagne showers in the suite. But post-presser, reporter cornered. Riley Hayes, your high school sweetheart? Fans are shipping it. Vince froze, mic hot. Impulse 1. Yeah, he's the real MVP. Love that guy. Headlines exploded. QB comes out with draft pick. Backlash hit. Trolls on X. Conservative pundits foaming. But allies rallied. Glad nods. Fan art flooding. We hunkered in Buffalo's chill. Snow-laced lake winds. Luna shipped east for comfort. You outed us? I said one night. Curled on motel bed. TV muted on highlights. Us? He echoed, guilt-etching lines. Without asking. Risky as hell. I nodded, tracing his tattoo. A hawk in flight. Inked post-state win. But honest. And yeah, terrifying. Support poured. Teammates' texts. Got your back? Bro. Mom's care packages of jerky and pies. Vince's rookie year dawned gritty. Benchwarm most games. but learning, growing. I shuttled coasts, series greenlit for second season, episodes echoing our arc. Love amid spotlights, betrayals as catalysts. Summer brought reckoning. A homophobic heckler at training camp. Slurs hurled over fences. Pushed Vince over. He snapped, charging, security hauling him back. Press devoured. Bills QB's temper flare. Fine loomed, sponsors wavered. In the locker room, echoes of Ohio, he broke, sobbing into my shoulder. Me flown in crisis. Can't do this. The hate. It's poison. Then don't alone. I held him, steam curling like ghosts. We're the team. Always. He nodded, emerging fiercer. Press conference owning the outburst, donating fine to queer youth. Backlash flipped. Headlines shifted to hero. Endorsements trickled anti-hate. Fall deepened bonds. Buffalo winters brutal, but we nested. A loft near the stadium, lunar ruling hearth. I'd fly in post-episode raps. Scripts swapped for playbooks over wings. Romance bloomed domestic. Slow dances to Coltrane. Hikes in Letchworth's gorges. Whispers of adoption someday. One blizzard night, power out, candles guttering, he knelt by fireplace. Riley Hayes, you caught my Hail Mary years ago. Marry me? For real this time. Ring simple, silver band etched with coordinates of that Ohio field. Yes, I choked. Pulling him up, kiss sealing fates. Wedding planning bridged worlds. Ohio ceremony, small, heartfelt. Mom's pie, his dad's toast tear-jerked. Vows under harvest moon. Through risks and rooms, I choose you. Honeymoon in the Keys, sun-soaked, salt-kissed, no spotlights. We swam with rays, wrote letters to future selves. Love a tide pulling constant. Back to life, his starting nod mid-season, my series Emmy buzz. Conflicts arose, schedule clashes, media microscopes, but we navigated, therapy our compass. Years folded, Vince's Pro Bowl, my showrunner's chair. Kids came via surrogacy, twin boys, rowdy as us, tumbling fields. Willow Creek visits annual, town evolved. Pride flags on Maine, our story school lore. The risky thing? It birthed legacy, not flawless, but human. Proof love endures betrayals, transforms locker room whispers to stadium roars. In quiet moments, Vince's hand in mine, I'd think, worth every shatter. Fatherhood hit like a blindside. Equal parts terror and rapture. Diapers and dawn feeds rewriting our playbook overnight. The twins, Elias and Theo, arrived screaming into a buffalo spring. All chubby fists and eyes mirroring ours. Elias with Vince's blue, Theo my denim. Our loft transformed overnight. Cribs crowding corners. Baby monitors crackling symphonies of coos and cries. Vince, ever the quarterback, adapted seamless. Bottle relays at 3 a.m., burping rotations like huddle calls. Team Harlan Hayes, undefeated. He'd quip, exhaustion-lined grin unwavering. Me, I floundered. Series hiatus a blessing and curse. Flying east meant red ice with pump parts. Scripts scribbled one-handed while rocking bassinets. You're super mom. Vince teased over FaceTime. Flour dusted from his attempt at pancakes. Dad? I corrected, laughing through fatigue. And barely. But joy anchored us. Park strolls in Delaware Park. Twins bundled in carriers. Leaves crunching underfoot as Vince narrated plays. And Daddy Riley fades left. Touchdown tummy time. Elias giggled. Theo gnawed his fist. World narrowing to these miracles we'd manifested from love's stubborn will. Work beckoned relentless. My show renewed for season 3. Producers demanding outlines from maternity leave's haze. Vince's camp loomed, preseason grind, OTAs in July heat. We'll manage, he assured, kissing foreheads all around. Family first. Yet strains surfaced, subtle as hairline fractures. Sleepless nights frayed tempers. A forgotten diaper run sparking snap. Can't you check the list? Regret swift. Apologies whispered over cooling coffee. Distance amplified. Him in pads. Me in writers' rooms. Calls clipped by cries or coaching. Crisis crested Labor Day. Vince's home opener. Bills versus Jets. Stadium electric under Monday lights. I flew in with the boys, sweet comped, Elias on hip, Theo nursing blanket. Halftime, tied 14 all, chaos erupted. Nanny no-show, Theo spiking fever. Medics swarmed, me pacing sidelines. Cameras catching every frantic step, while Vince glanced up from huddle, eyes locking mine across the frenzy. He threw 3 picks that half, focus shattered, Jets pulling ahead 28-17. Post whistle, locker room a tomb, towels snapped, silence heavy. Vince stormed out, finding us in family lounge. Theo dosed with Tylenol, Elias dozing. What happened? Voice raw, uniform mud-streaked. Fever. It's passing. I stood, handing off Elias. You okay? He sank, head in hands. Ruined it. Let the team down, fans, coaches. All 'cause I couldn't. Stop. I knelt, tilting chin. You saw us. That's strength, not weakness. But doubt lingered. Press ripping. Harlan's dad duties distract. Bill's blunder. Sponsors paused ads. Agent calls terse. Vince withdrew, gym marathons masking marathons of mind. Therapy ramped. Family sessions now. Twins gurgling in laps as we unpacked. Presence over perfection, the counselor urged. Vince nodded, but nights found him staring ceilings, whispering fears. What if I'm failing them? The boys need a winner. Not this. You're their hero, I countered, tracing scars from surgeries past. Wins and losses. Life's the game. Fall deepened. Leaves turning fire orange. But home fires flickered. A script deadline clashed with parent-teacher, daycare edition. Me missing Theo's first steps. Video sent post facto. Heart twisting at pixels. Vince's apology dinner. Takeout Italian. Candles guttering turned confessional. I pushed you east too soon. Chasing my dream. Dragging hours. Mutual chase. Fork twirled pasta. But yeah, tired. Of halves. He reached across, hand enveloping. Full-time then. Trade me? Or you relocate? Talks bloomed. Logistics. Legacies. Bills dangled contract extensions. My show I'd spin-offs. Compromise emerged. Hybrid. Me splitting quarters in Buffalo. Remote rights when apart. Winter whooshed in. Lake effect snow-burying cars. But warmth bloomed domestic. Holiday cards featured us 4. Vince hoisting twins. Me grinning backdrop. Mailed to Ohio where mom framed pride of place. Willow Creek evolved. Annual pride picnic. Our old field renamed Harlan Hayes Gridiron. Plaque citing courage on and off the field. Betrayal revisited. Insidious. Spring. A teammate's wife, embittered by her own divorce. Leaked texts. Vince's late-night vents to Marcus about dad fatigue. Twisted to paint him checked out. Tabloids feasted. QB's secret struggles? Family man or fumble? Hate mail surged. Slurs scrawled on our gate. Threats veiled in fan mail. Vince shattered one eve post-practice finding the stack. How do they know? Who? Doesn't matter. I burned them in sink. Flames licking envelopes. We're not their story. But scars reopened. Him questioning paternity leave. Me second-guessing series commitment. Fights flared. You're always gone. And you're married to the jersey. Ending in slammed doors. Twins wailing chorus. Climax crashed Mother's Day, irony bitter. Show rap party in LA. Me en route when Vince called mid-flight. Car accident. Rear-ended on 90. Elias bruised rib from car seat jostle. I'm fine. He rushed, but voice quavered. Come home. I rerouted. Landing to hospital fluorescence redux. X-rays clear, but Elias clingy. Theo sensing chaos. Vince paced waiting room, jersey swapped for scrubs. Can't keep doing this. Risks piling like we're cursed. Not cursed. I pulled him into alcove. Foreheads touching. Tested. And passing barely. That night, motel near ER, insurance wrangling, we bared souls. Remember the locker room? He murmured, fingers interlaced. One risk, everything changed. For better. Kiss soft, reaffirming. We choose this. Every day. Dawn brought plan. Sabbatical for me, coaching gig for him, youth league, low stakes. Relocate talk resurfaced. Nashville? Austin. Cities queer-friendly, family-centric. Trials loomed. House hunts virtual. Agents negotiating. Summer solstice, we escape to the farm, roots calling. Fields greened. Barn standing sentinel. With twins napping hayloft, we climb to our old fort spot. Initials carved in beam. Full circle, Vince said, arm around waist. New loop. I leaned in, sunset gilding us gold. Write the next chapter together. Back in Buffalo, resolve solidified. I stepped back from showrun, consulting role, freedom for family. Vince inked with a CFL team up north. Shorter season, closer flights. Betrayals leak. Perpetrator outed. Teammate's wife. Jealousy fueled. Apology public. Settlement quiet. Fall football returned. Vince starting for Toronto Argos. Me scripting from sidelines. Literally, laptop on bleachers, twins cheering Dada's throws. Wins mounted, but losses too, human tally. One game, Hail Mary intercepted, he trudged off, helmet dangling, finding us in stands. Rough one. Theo toddled forward, hugging knee. Dada strong. Vince scooped him, eyes meeting mine over curls. Yeah, we are. Humanism wove through community center expansions, our foundation funding queer sports camps. Ohio reunions swelled. Kids racing fields, elders nodding approval. You boys did good, Coach Barkley grunted at a barbecue, cigar chomped. Years accelerated. Twins to T-ball, me penning memoir. Our story, unvarnished. Vince's hall nod, CFL lore. Conflicts ebbed, date nights reclaimed, therapy maintenance. One anniversary, lake cruise, twins with sitters, we danced under strings, his hand steady. Risky things saved us, kept us, toast raised, waves lapping. Love enduring, a quiet victory. A decade dances by in blurs of birthdays and breakthroughs, leaving you wiser, wearier, but no less wonderstruck. The boys hit double digits, Elias lanky like Vince, quarterback dreams in mini pads. Theo compact, my storyteller, scripting graphic novels in spiral pads. Toronto rooted us. Victorian row house in Cabbagetown, backyard rink winters, CN Tower views summers. Vince's CFL tenure cemented legend. Grey Cup rings stacking, coaching whispers growing. My consulting bloomed boutique production, queer narratives, global reach. But time's thief steals subtle. Aches in old tackles, gray threading temples, questions from kids probing identities. Were you scared, dads? Elias asked, one campfire, marshmallows toasting. Coming out, I mean. Vince poked embers, eyes reflective. Petrified. But your papa? He made brave contagious. Theo leaned in, sketchpad idle. Tell the locker room story again. We did, sanitized for young ears, hook of risk, arc of redemption. Laughter mingled with crickets, bonds ironclad. Conflict stirred midlife, insidious. Vince's offer, NFL return, coordinator for Bills, Buffalo beckoning, legacy loop. One more run. He pitched over pub pints, lads night sans lads. For the boys, see grandpa's old turf. Temptation tugged, Ohio proximity, career capstone. But uproot, Toronto's mosaic, diverse streets, queer allies woven, our haven. And us, I countered, fork-spearing poutine. Start over at 45? He deflated, foam-flecked mustache twitching. Fair, but feels unfinished. Doubt snowballed. My scripts drying, rejections stacking like cordwood. Agent Blunt, pivot or perish streaming's youth cult. Imposter roared back, whispering irrelevance. Clash-crested autumn, his acceptance speech at a gala, me sidelined by deadline. Dressed sharp, I arrived late, finding him mid-toast, to risks that rewrite fates. Eyes met across ballroom, applause fading to static. After-party buzzed, but we slipped to balcony, city lights fractal below. Missed the opener, he said, handing champagne. Traffic. Lie thin. I'd lingered revisions, chasing ghosts. His jaw set. Or avoiding. Lately you're distant. Words burst. Because I'm drowning, Vince. Shows tanking, kids growing, you eyeing Buffalo like it's Narnia. What about here? Us? He reeled, glass clinking rail. Thought it'd excite you. Family legacy, boys at games. Legacy? Bitter laugh. Ours is this messy maid. Not chasing gridiron ghosts. Silence stretched, wind whipping ties. Hurt etched his face, betrayal's old blade twisting. After everything, you think I'm running? I'm building, for us. Or escaping? Venom slipped, regret instant. The dad bod. The has-been tag. He paled, stepping back. That's not, God, is that how you see me? I crumpled, reaching. No. Fears talking. Mine. Reconciliation brewed slow. Walks in High Park, leaves carpeting paths, hands brushing tentative. Therapy resumed, couples, then individual, unearthing midlife malaise. Vince grieved athletic prime. I mourned creative fire. We're not ending, he vowed one session, tears carving tracks. Evolving. Pivot came organic. He declined bills, inking Argo's extension, assistant coach, boots on turf. I launched podcast, Risky Bonds, Queer Stories, Oral Histories. Guests from allies to adversaries, resonance rebuilding. Winter solstice, boys bundled for Toboggan Hill, we lagged, mugs steaming. Remember Big Sir? Vince murmured, breath clouding. Someday become now. I nodded, gloved hand in his. Beach house? Retirement plot. With you? Anywhere. Spring thawed hearts. Elias's Pee-wee Championship. Vince calling plays, me filming, Theo diagramming celebrations. Win sealed with dogpile, twins hoisting trophy. Us cheering backdrop. Post-game. Field house quieting. Vince pulled me aside. Echo of lockers long past. Proud of this team. Of us. Kiss salt sweet. Sweat and triumph. Always. Betrayal's final echo. Leak redux. Anonymized emails to Vince's GM. Alleging favoritism. My influence swaying calls. Probe loomed, headlines sniffing scandal. Stress peaked. Sleepless audits, lawyers lunching. But truth surfaced. Jealous rival coach, grudge from draft snub. Vindication swift, but scars lingered, trust's fragility. We leaned communal. Team spouses circle, queer dads group, sharing war stories over coffees. Humanism bloomed fullest in giving back. Foundation expanded, camps global, scholarships for out athletes. Willow Creek Pilgrimage Annual, field tours for twins. This is where dads met. Elias reciting plaque verbatim. One harvest, storm ravaged, we rebuilt bleachers. Hammers swinging, boys hauling lumber, townies toasting brews. Coach Barkley, Freilier now, clasped shoulders. You too? Changed the game. Summer waned, Elias's 13th dawning. Bar mitzvah hybrid. Vince's Jewish roots woven with my agnostic tales. Synagogue overflowed. Toronto kin, Ohio transplants, speeches heartfelt. Theo's toast. Dad's taught risks reward. Love without nets. Vows renewed post-ceremony. Private, lakeside, boys witnesses. Rings exchanged anew, simple bands worn thin. Through every room, every risk, Vince intoned, eyes ocean deep. Forever changed, forever us. Ages advanced, 40s to 50s silver fox era. Vince's mustache full white, my curls thinning artful. Boys to high school, Elias scouted juniors, Theo film club auteur. Empty nest loomed, but adventures beckoned. Sabbaticals scripting abroad, coaching clinics in Europe. Conflict's last gasp. Health scare, Vince's knee, arthritis gnawing, surgery slated. End of line? He joked post-op, crutches clacking rehab floors. Nah, victory lap. I wheeled him park circuits, Luna successor, mutt pup Milo trotting tandem. Recovery mirrored youth. Slow dances propped, dreams deferred to diaries. Memoir sequel penned, our middle chapters raw resilience. Grandkids sprinkled later, Elias's partner birthing girl. Theo adopting boy. Chaos joyful. Rowhouse raucous. Vince Papa Bear. Me story spinner. Twilight years, porch swings in Ohio retirement. Farmstead bought, fields ours. Sunsets painted, hands veined but laced. Worth the risk? He'd ask, ritual. Every shattered second. Kiss lingering, horizon endless. The bond? Eternal evolution. From locker room spark to legacy flame. Human, flawed, luminous. Proof love's greatest drama is persistence. Its climax quiet contentment. In Willow Creek's whisper we rest, changed forever, gratefully so.